You check your bank account 3 times a day. Not because you are worried about being overdrawn. You check because the number feels good. It feels safe. You see something you want. A jacket, a coffee, a weekend trip. You can afford it. You have the money. But something stops you. A quiet voice says, "Not yet. Maybe later." So you put it back. You close the tab. You walk away. And later that night, you feel a strange mix of relief and emptiness. You save the money, good, but you also feel tired, like saving has become its own kind of hunger. This looks like discipline, but it is not always discipline. Sometimes it is fear wearing a responsible mask. Let me explain what is really happening. First, let me tell you something important. You are not bad with money. You are not broken. You are not greedy or weird. The way you save, the way you hold on and struggle to let go makes perfect sense. Your brain is trying to protect you. It learned something about money a long time ago, and it has been doing the same job ever since. So take a breath. You are not alone. Many people save and save and save and never feel safe enough to spend. Here's the first reason. Money used to mean survival. For your ancestors, for your parents maybe, for you as a child, having something saved meant not starving, not losing the house, not being ashamed. So your brain learned a simple equation. Money in the bank equals safety. Money leaving equals danger. And that equation never updated. Even now when you have enough, even now when spending $20 would not change your life, the alarm still rings, the hand still pulls back. You are not being cheap, you are being careful. But careful became a cage. Think about this. When was the last time you bought something without calculating, without imagining the worst case, without asking, what if I need this money later? Later never comes. Later is always tomorrow, and tomorrow the same voice returns. Second reason, you are not afraid of losing money, you are afraid of the feeling of losing money. Psychologists call this loss aversion. Losing $50 hurts more than finding $50 feels good. That is not a flaw. That is how your brain is wired. So you avoid spending not because you don't want things. You avoid spending because spending feels like loss, even when you get something in return. Imagine this. You buy a nice meal. The food is delicious, the company is warm, but on the way home you think, that was expensive. And suddenly the memory of the meal is smaller than the memory of the receipt. That's loss aversion. Your brain remembers the loss more than the gain, so it learns to avoid the loss entirely by avoiding spending entirely. You are not miserly, you are loss averse, and that kept you safe when money was scarce, but now it keeps you from enjoying what you already have. Third reason, saving gives you control in a world that feels unpredictable. Life is chaotic, jobs disappear, health fails, rent goes up, markets crash. You cannot control any of that, but you can control your bank balance. You can watch it grow, you can count it, you can protect it. And that feeling of control is addictive, not in a bad way, in a human way. Every time you save instead of spend, you feel a small hit of certainty. You think, I'm being responsible. I'm different from people who waste money. I'm safe. But here's the quiet truth. Control becomes a trap when you need permission to live, when every purchase feels like a loss of control, when you look at your savings and still feel empty. The money is there, but you are not there with it. You are still standing outside, guarding the door. And this is where money becomes emotional, deeply emotional. Here is the part most people miss. You are not saving money. You are saving a version of yourself that was once helpless, a younger you who had nothing, a past you who watched others struggle, a version of you that promised, I will never be without again. Every dollar you save is a promise kept to that younger self, and spending feels like breaking that promise. So you hold on, not because you love money, because you love the feeling of not being scared anymore. But here's the sadness. The fear never fully leaves, because the amount you need to feel safe keeps growing. First it was 1,000, then 10, then 50, then 100,000.
And still, it's not enough. Because the problem was never the number, the problem was the fear. And you can't save your way out of fear. You can only save your way into exhaustion. Now, let's talk about how this changes over time. When you were younger and had less, saving was heroic. You said no to things. You built a foundation. That was wise. But as your income grows, the same behavior starts to feel different. It's no longer heroism. It becomes habit. Then it becomes identity. You start to think, I'm a saver, and that identity feels good. It feels clean. It feels better than being a spender. But identities can become prisons. The saver who never spends ends up with the same life as the spender with no savings. One has nothing, the other has everything and uses none of it. As you age, as responsibilities shift, as you have more people depending on you, the fear can grow or shrink. Some people loosen their grip, others hold tighter. Neither is wrong, but one lets you breathe. Now here's what's really happening beneath all of this. Your saving habit is an emotional regulation tool. It reduces stress. It creates a sense of order. It protects you from the chaos of wanting things and not being able to have them. Think of your savings as a shield, not a weapon, not a treasure, a shield. Every time you feel uncertain about the future, you hide behind that shield. Every time the world feels expensive or unfair, you look at your balance and feel a little better. That's not foolish. That's intelligent. You found a way to soothe yourself without drugs, without gambling, without destruction. You used money as medicine. But every medicine has a side effect. The side effect of using money as a shield is that you forget to live outside the shield. You forget that money can also be a door, not just a wall. You have built something beautiful, a reserve, a cushion, a gift to your future self. But your present self is waiting. And your present self is tired of saying no. So, here's what I want you to hear. No advice, no steps, no plan. Just this. You are not broken. You are not bad with money. You are a person who learned early that money means safety, and you have been protecting that safety for a long time. That's honorable. That's human. That is not a mistake. But maybe, just maybe, you don't need to protect it quite so hard anymore. Not because the world is safe, the world is never safe, but because you have already done the work. The money is there, the shield is strong, and you are allowed to lower it sometimes, just for a moment, just to taste something, just to feel what it's like to spend without guilt, without calculation, without fear. You have saved for years for a version of yourself that already arrived. That version is you, right now, today. You don't need to change overnight. You don't need to become a reckless spender. You just need to know, deep in your chest, that saving was never the goal. The goal was to feel safe enough to live. And you are safe enough. You always have been.